Many times during SQL Server interviews, right, many of the SQL Server interviewers ask this loopy and tricky question. Find the second highest from a given table, find the third highest from the given table. Or probably, they can also go vice versa, saying, find the second lowest from the given table, find the second lowest or third lowest from the given table. Just to make this question more clearer, for example, you can see a very simple table of EMP names with salary. So the interviewer would like to know how the SQL will be written, to get employee who is the second highest or who is the third highest in his salary. Now, this looks to be a very simple question, but it is not. And believe me, even if you are a senior, it's a very difficult question to answer. So in the first go itself, do not try to attempt, this question thinking that you have 10 years of experience or whatever it is, because as I said repeatedly that clearing SQL Server interviews is not about talent or experience, but it's more about how you prepare yourself, how you have done your homework. So let's go ahead and solve this. Now, before we solve this, let me give the short answer, so that you can at least make your interviewer happy. This thing can be solved by using correlated queries. Let me again repeat, correlated queries. Now the long answer. The long answer is a query itself, which definitely the interviewer can tell you to write, or at least, he would like to know how you will approach the same. Now, before I go ahead with the query, let's first understand, how this can be approached, because once we understand the approach, right, writing the query is absolutely secondary. The first thing we need in order to solve this query is we need at least 2 copies of a record. Let me explain you why. So for the given EMP table, which we just saw, right, on our SQL panel, we need to have 2 records internally. One, the main record, and the second is the auxiliary record. So you can see in the above figure, we need to have at least 2 record copies internally. Now let's assume that we want to find the second highest. So here's how the process will move. So we take the first record, that is 100. You can see 100 for now on the screen. So we take the value 100 from the main record table, compare the same with the auxiliary table, asking how many people's salary are greater than or equal to 100. So the answer we'll get is 4. Why? Because 300 is greater 1, 200 is greater 2, 150 is greater 3, and 100 is equal. So 4. So definitely this is not the second highest, and this record is discarded. Then we take the second record. Here again 300 is higher, 200 is higher, and 150 is equal. So we get 3. Again, this is not proper. So again this record is discarded. Now we go to 200. We get the answer as 2. Why? Because we have 2 records which are higher. One is 300 and the other one is 200, which is equal. Remember, we are saying higher and equal. Okay, so we get 2. So this record is grabbed and displayed on the SQL panel. Now this data moving to and fro, can be achieved by using correlated queries. So now let's go ahead and let's see how the actual query looks like. So let me first write down the query, which will actually help us to fetch the second highest salaried person from the table. And now that we have written the query, now let's try to understand this query step by step. Now you can see in this query, we have 2 alias tables. So one is the main table and the other one is the auxiliary table. Now we are trying to build on the same concept, which we discussed theoretically previously. So if you remember, right, in the previous minutes of the video, I have discussed that how exactly we are going to approach this problem. So now when we execute this query, right, every record from the main table is passed to the auxiliary table. The record of the main table is then compared with the auxiliary table to get the number of salaries which are greater or equal to, equal to the one passed from the main table. And this comparison returns a count. And this count is compared with a constant value 2. So what happens? The first record from the main table is taken, that is 100. It is compared. Question is asked, how many of you are greater than 100 or equal to 100? Answer comes 4. The record is discarded. Then the second value is taken, and this goes on, until you get the value 2. Now this passing of data from the external alias table to the internal query is only possible because we have used correlated query. So if you execute this, you can see, so if you execute this, let me just go and execute this. You can see it displays XYZ, which is indeed the second highest value. So putting it short and sweet for the interviewer, we can solve this problem by using correlated queries. And in case the interviewer asks you to write the query, then there it goes on the screen. Now, if you have liked this video, you will like my book as well. You can buy my book SQL Server Interview Questions by Shivprasad Koirala from www.flipkart.com. In case you have difficulties finding the book, send us an email at questpond@questpond.com and I'll get you the nearest location for it. So I hope that you get a job soon. I hope that all your problems get solved, and I hope that you like my book SQL Server Interview Questions. Thank you so much.